Hey guys, do you know how Spotify recommends the song based on our interest? This is Amy. Based on her Spotify history, Spotify recognized that she loved listening to English song while she disliked Malay song. How can these occur?
This is where machine learning takes place. Machine learning is when we teach machine to make guesses about what things are based on a lot of different examples.
This is how it works. For example, when someone listening to music, Spotify will collect the data and classify those data based on type of music. Based on the classified data, Spotify will be able to make recommendations for us.
Supervised learning. Supervised learning is the types of machine learning in which machines are trained using well-labeled training data, and on basis of that data, machines predict the output. The labeled data means some input data is already tagged with the correct output. In supervised learning, the training data provided to the machines work as the supervisor that teaches the machines to predict output correctly. It applies the same concept as a student learns in the supervision of the teacher. How supervised learning work? The working of the supervised learning can easily be understood by this diagram. Based on this diagram, we have different types of shape which include square, triangle and hexagon. Now, the first step is that we need to train the model for each shape. If the given shape has 4 sides, then it will labeled as square. If the given shape has 3 sides, then it will labeled as triangle. If the given shape has 5 sides, then it will labeled as hexagon. Now, after training, we test our model using the test set, and the task of the model is to identify the shape. Since the machine C already trained on all types of shape, so, it will classifies the shape on the basis of the number of side and predict the output. Supervised learning can be divided into 2 categories. The first one is classification. Classification algorithms are used when the output variable is categorical, which means there are 2 classes such as yes or no, true or false. The example of the classification include image classification, diagnosis and identity fraud detection. The second category for supervised learning is regression. Regression algorithms are used if there is a relationship between the input variable and the output variable. It is used for the prediction of continuous variables, such as weather forecasting, market forecasting and estimating life expectancy.
Unsupervised learning. There are 2 methods in unsupervised learning, which is clustering and dimensionality reduction. Here's an example for clustering. When a group of data consisting of cars and motorcycles is inserted into the machine, it will translate the data and separate them into clusters according to their similarity or features. For dimensionality reduction, the number of input variables in a dataset is reduced.
A way to understand reinforcement learning is to think about how someone might learn to play an old school computer game for the first time, when they aren't familiar with the rules or how to control the game. While they may be a complete novice, eventually, by looking at the relationship between the buttons they press, what happens on screen and their in-game score, their performance will get better and better. Training the models that control autonomous cars is an excellent example of a potential application of reinforcement learning. In an ideal situation, the computer should get no instructions on driving the car. For example, in usual circumstances we would require an autonomous vehicle to put safety first, minimize ride time, reduce pollution, offer passengers comfort and obey the law. With an autonomous race car, on the other hand, we would emphasize speed much more than the driver's comfort. The programmer cannot predict everything that could happen on the road. Instead of building lengthy if-then instructions, the programmer prepares the reinforcement learning agent to be capable of learning from the system of rewards and penalties. The agent, another name for reinforcement learning algorithms performing the task, gets rewards for reaching specific goals.